Hello, fellow Star Trek fleet commanders. This is 𝙀𝙗𝙋𝘼 from BHD8 Gaming. Recently, we put out videos on what happens if you try to get over 1,000 chests in the game, as well as what the contents of the 1,000 chests that we did farm up were. Well, in this video, we're going to share what our loadout was, that is the crews and the ships that we put them on, to go ahead and hoard up 1,000 chests in right around 90 minutes or so of game time. Let's do it. We're just going to dive right into this video. I'm not sure how many hostile crews you have that are specifically geared towards interceptors, but here's what we used on our ships. We loaded up 5 docks with explorers and interceptors, mostly because battleships are slow, not because we were worried about going against the battle triangle on ships that are this low. For those who aren't aware and haven't watched the other 2 videos, we are talking about the level 17 Separatist systems. They are elite ships for that level. They're not actually scaled to the difficulty of a level 17 ship. They're also much weaker than the ships that we will be using for this at operations level 41 or so when we shot the video. So on our dry dock A, what we used was a tier 3 Enterprise with Picard as captain, Beverly and Worf on deck with him. We stacked for defense, but there was another crew that we stacked for defense before we stacked this one. Our dock B, we used a tier 3 D4 class with 5 of 11 as your captain, 7 of 11, and Kang on the sides. We stacked for attack on this ship. Just a real quick side note, when we say that we stacked these, we actually crewed all of these ships first, and then we went back and stacked those stats below deck so that we weren't trying to use an officer that we needed as part of a loadout somewhere else. So our dry dock C, we actually used a tier 2 Cerritos for that. We used the Strange New Worlds Pike, Strange New Worlds Spock, and La'an cards. This was before they released that Strike Team La'an, so this was the Strange New Worlds La'an. This was the crew that we actually stacked defense below deck before we stacked that Picard Beverly Worf crew, just because this was a weaker ship for us, so we wanted to give it a little bit more of an advantage using that Strange New World Spock's officer ability. On our dry dock D, we used that maxed out Vidar tier 9 level 45. We put the 𝘂𝗶𝘁 Spock on there as captain, with the 𝘂𝗶𝘁 timeline Uhura put on there as well as Kuran. This was our fastest ship to close the distance between hostiles. It was the most damaged ship that we had at the end of this run, but that is probably because it was engaged in combat more often than any of the other ships that we were using. For our dry dock E as our final ship, we used our tier 9 Saladin with 𝗂𝗵𝘁 on there. We stacked all of the officers from the show Lower Decks that have their lower deck abilities on that ship as well, because it was already at its bonuses before we even had to put them underneath there, just to give it some extra oomph against these hostiles. Real quick, if you're getting any value out of this video at all, leave it a like for us. It helps out the channel quite a bit. Comment down below on what other weird interceptor crews that you use when you've got your 𝗂𝗵𝘁 used elsewhere. Subscribe if you've not done so already for more Star Trek Fleet Command and other gaming content, and share this video with anybody you think might benefit from it. Now that we've shared the crews and the ships that we put them on, here's some additional tips that will help anybody that wants to follow in our footsteps to go farm up a bunch of these hostiles. First off, we did use the PC client with Ripper's mod for those awesome keyboard shortcuts. Yes, since the time of recording that, 𝘂𝗶𝘁 has pushed through update 45, and now they have their own keyboard shortcuts. However, we've been using Ripper's mod for 9-10 or so months, I believe, with that amazing keyboard shortcut feature. We're used to those. We haven't gone to change the in-game ones to try to match Ripper's at all, so that's what we used for this video. We did have to close and reopen the PC client every 15 to 20 minutes or so during this, because hitting that many hostiles, rapid fire, switching between ships, etc. did seem to accrue a lot of errors. We started to get a lot of lag on our side, so we did close and reopen pretty frequently. If you are missing the officers to try to put any of these crews together for any reason, whether they're on away teams when you're trying to do this or you just haven't unlocked them yet, you can always try to fall back on those TNG and cadet hostile crews. Real quick, for anybody who doesn't know what those are, that's your Next Generation LaForge as your captain with Next Generation Data and the Next Generation Crusher as sidecards for your TNG crew. And for your cadet crew, you're going to use Cadet Uhura in the captain's chair with Cadet Kirk and Cadet McCoy on the sides. We didn't want this video to be very long at all, but we did want to put it out there for anybody who wants to follow in our footsteps and go farm up a bunch of those blueprints for the grade 2 ships so that you can build them up and scrap them for the grade 3 materials. If you haven't seen them already, you can go back and check out the videos where we actually opened the 1,000 chests that we farmed up, or see what happens if you try to get 1,001 chests in this game. Thank you very much to everyone who has supported our channel, either monetarily. You can leave us a tip down in the description below via PayPal, Patreon, or you can join the channel. or non-monetary ways that you can support the channel, of course, are to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. That's it for this video, my friends. Choose to live, and we'll see you again soon.